second one, I want to know, in your presentation, you show us ADAURA trial results. So we are noticed that real world outcome in China sometimes they were different from trial results. In your view, what are the main factors driving the gap between trial efficacy and real world effectiveness?
Great question, and that experience mirrors the U.S., where generally these drugs work well in trials and less well in population. I can, at least in our environment, only like 3 to 5% of patients go on the clinical trials, and so you have to be relatively good organ function status, motivated patient, and I think you sort of select for the people who have maybe more indolent disease, more motivation. And that's sort of a problem. And I can say within the US that once the drug's approved, it's kind of, there's not much quality control. I mean, I don't know how to say it politely. So I think you're seeing people use them outside the package label, maybe using them in different applications, and that's always a problem. For instance, like my fear with the ADAURA is that people will start using that to convert an unresectable, or trying to convert an unresectable patient to a resectable patient. And that's not how the trial was designed. The trial was designed so those people were determined by a multidisciplinary tumor board to be resectable at the beginning. So you're not, but I do have fears, and that's just one example. It goes on that there's a lot of extrapolation from trial data to real world, and sometimes these extrapolations don't hold true, I guess.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you so much. But I have a few questions. So, as you, in your opinion or in your presentation, as a resistance to TKIs remain a major clinical challenge, do you believe that ADC could have overcome the issue? In your opinion, is this one of the key directions for the future of the EGFR mutant non-small cell treatment? So I want to know.
Sure. I mean, I think I was a little bit more enthusiastic with the osimertinib and the MET inhibitor because that is sort of a biological rationale. You have a biomarker and that works well. I think the ADCs to me have been a disappointment, and part of that is that they were developing an unselected patient population. Maybe some of the earlier formulations had increased toxicity, and I think that's still the next generation. We really. So I think that the ADCs may have a role if we can identify a biomarker, and I think we need to make some adjustment in the dose to make them more tolerable. But I think we haven't seen the dramatic improvement in outcomes with ADCs that we'd hoped for 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope so. So I think that's a last question. As we know, you are the global respected expert oncologist, and most important, you are the editor-in-chief of the journal Clinical Oncology. So how do you view the current landscape of the clinical oncology research in mainland China? And in your appearance, what level of the evidence quality, study design, or clinical innovation is typically required for a study to be seriously considered for publication, like Journal of the Clinical Oncology? So that's my question.
Great question. And I actually have a whole new lecture on that, how to get into JCO and what we look for. But I won't bore you with a second lecture tonight or tomorrow morning. So what JCO places a priority on prospective trials that have a good statistical design and obviously have a good outcome. And we kind of look at, is it a novel agent or is it an agent, third or fourth in class of agent? What was the outcome and what's the clinical activity? We have accepted taletrectinib was developed as a Chinese drug, as you know, and we accepted that phase 2 from China, because we thought that activity was exceptional. And so we do look at those prospective trials from China. We also accepted the chemotherapy in torlipanib versus chemotherapy alone. And so we're always on the lookout. And yeah, I think if you look at this year's ASCO, there are a lot of Chinese presentations and Chinese drugs in China. And so we're on the lookout for Chinese data. And one of the most impressive things in China was the time of I don't want to take us on a tangent, but that time of immunotherapy trial was outstanding. Yeah, I mean, I saw those curves. I was like, these people, this is a great study, because I've rejected retrospective studies looking at that, because I always worried that the good performance status patients show up early, the poor performance status patients, or patients who are poor and need a ride, show up late. But I want that trial on the immunotherapy timing. So we are eager to look at these, and those are examples of trials that have really been prospectively good statistical plan, and everything like that, and we're eager to get them.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you again sharing your valuable insight today. I look forward to submit my clinical trial to JCO. I hope we'll get public. So I only welcome you to Wuhan and give us advice how to get the high impact factor journal like JCO. So thank you so much. I look forward to continue collaboration and exchange in this year ahead. So thank you.
Thank you. And I actually got to go to Wuhan about a year ago, so it was nice.
Do you like it? Okay. Do you like Wuhan food? Do you eat do you eat dry noodles?
I eat dry noodles, and they serve Chairman Mao's fish, because I guess he used to go there. He used to go to Wuhan and eat the fish, and so I had that as well. Then
welcome you come back again. So see you. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening. So because we have a couple of thoracic surgeons on the trial, I want to highlight one of the thoracic surgery trials that we accepted. It took people with ground glass opacities. The CTR ratio was low, and they were randomized to mediastinal lymph node dissection or not. And what this trial found was the rate of mediastinal lymph node involvement was very low, and the trial was stopped on an interim analysis, but there was a reduction in complications and in terms of the blood loss and other things. And so I know JCO is perceived as a medical oncology journal, but we sent it out for review, and the surgeon said, look, this is going to be practice changing, and that we can admit the lymph node dissection in these patients. And so we did accept that at JCO, and that was a trial that was developed and performed in China.
I got it. Thank you so much.